This is the Real Pod Newscast with Levon Putney with a quick check on what's going on. So here's my man to get into it.
Just glad we're getting a weekend NBA Finals game. I'll actually get to watch a whole one. Hey, thanks for listening to Real Pod here. Got a lot of stories in this one, so I'll get going in a sec. But just finished watching the 4-season show on Netflix. Man, that was good. And then jump straight into the first episode of The Burrows. I think I'm really going to like this one. Great actors, A-list actors in that one. It's just making me feel a certain way. Old. Going from a show about middle-aged friends to one in a retirement community. I don't want to face that reality just yet. Midlife crisis here. So, you know what? I think I'm going to watch something with younger folks. Maybe the latest season of the animated One Piece. Yeah, watch a cartoon. Then maybe something else, with some younger folks in a cast that maybe never heard of Geritol or Metamucil.
My favorite stories of the day.
All right, we'll get off my midlife crisis and we'll start with the state of human beings. When CBS Pittsburgh is reporting, a woman from New Jersey banned herself from Pennsylvania casinos because, well, for those not familiar, one way that gambling states deal with addiction is to allow people to register themselves on exclusion lists, which is what Pennsylvania State Police say this woman did before they were called to the Hollywood Casino at Penn National in East Hanover Township for a woman hitting the jackpot. That 69-year-old woman from New Jersey hit a slot game jackpot. CBS News did not say how much the jackpot was, but it really didn't matter because she made sure she could not get it. She hit it but couldn't get it. A term in these exclusion lists say gamblers prohibited from collecting winnings. Now, back on Tuesday the 26th, the East Bay Times newspaper is reporting, and whatever, I know it's not a paper anymore, but damn near 53 in a few months, I'm old. See, midlife crisis. But the paper is reporting a 35-year-old postal worker was out on his route and was accused of not driving well at all, to the point where folks call the cops on the mailman. This was in Highland, California, San Bernardino County, east of LA Valley. It's where East Bay Times said the mailman's boss called him to ask him to pull over. No news outlet relayed what the postal worker said to his boss, but everything he's accused of doing says his answer was no. County sheriff's deputies even followed and tried to pull him over. Still, no. This is what his actions were saying until the Times said he gave up and pulled over. Now, this was still a mailman, right? And deputies say he stopped delivering once he started saying no to pulling over. So some people's mail in the valley ended up a little late. The Times said that mailman was booked one day and out of jail the next. New version of going postal. And in Northern California, San Francisco, the Chronicle just ran a story last Thursday on how it's been 6 months since local cops heard some dude broke into the Hot 8 yoga studio in town, came out with an armful of yoga pants and other activewear, walked up to the back of the car, popped the trunk and tossed the gear into the rear, closed the trunk and got into the Waymo. And off he went in a Waymo. The thief got away in an autonomous vehicle, and 6 months later, they have no idea where this dude went. Say what you want about driverless cars and AI, but so far, they don't snitch. In Florida, a 24-year-old Bradenton man is accused of being too young to be alive when those of us old enough to remember the Cold War ending. See, back on age again. This midlife crisis is a crisis for me right now. But anyway, we already learned that radioactive material was nothing to play with. Chernobyl, still fresh in our minds. 3 Mile Island, still a boogeyman story that scared us from wanting anything with the words nuclear or radioactive to come near us. Well, unless it was an X-ray. But yeah, Gen Xer might have been considered suicidal if caught with a radiological device. But Fox 13 Tampa Bay says that 24-year-old had one, moisture density gauge, which Florida Highway Patrol's Criminal Investigations and Intelligence Bureau says contains an internal radiological isotope, and that the young guy was trying to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. Well, trying only until he wasn't, since he set up a meet with an undercover cop. Not that he knew it, but never showed up. Well, maybe he sensed there was a setup, maybe not. Either way, Florida Highway Patrol investigators say no taxies, backsies. They busted into that man's home anyway and arrested him. After scanning the home to find the moisture density gauge was inside, and that was all they apparently needed to go in. That 24-year-old looked like a 24-year-old in that mugshot, too, by the way. But Fox 13 said it was not clear how the young man got the $10,000 to $20,000 device. So no saying for now if they have proof it was even swiped. Also, in the Sunshine State, News Channel 8 Tampa is reporting a gun-packing man scared folks last Thursday morning inside a Walmart in Venice, Sarasota County. Not because the guy whipped out the gun. The county sheriff's office says the gun that stayed in the man's holster, in the waistband of the man's shorts. It got a little specific there because sheriff's deputies say they saw him on surveillance video after somebody called about hearing a gunshot in the store and saw a trail of blood leading into the restroom in the front of the store. Now, deputies say he was gone by the time they got there, but a man matching the guy's description did check into a local hospital, bullet wound to his leg and groin area, which cops figured was their guy since they say the surveillance footage showed him trying to adjust the gun in the holster when it went off, shooting himself in the groin and leg area. Now, neither deputies nor News Channel 8 story said a word about charges or possible, and I don't know if they need to. Seems he punished himself. Back in a moment.
Blazing the best hip-hop, R&B, reggae, soca.
You can download the Jams Podcast Mix for free. Just Google search Jams Podcast Mix.
It's Jams Hour Mix with Greg H. Moment of calmness.
Mosquito bites, an itching rash from the plant you thought was a fern. Snake, a grass snake, but a snake. Pollen, which Charlie Murphy reminded us is only a plant's form of sperm.
Thank you for this moment of calmness.
Yeah, thanks for this rash.
Brought to you by
Your mama.
ASMR.
5555. My cracking in butts. It's what we do for you.
And now for the world around us.
There are a lot of animal stories in this section, and they sound like I should bring up a point I made in last week's Real Pod. Maybe there is an animal revolt, and we just don't know it, because for one, a parakeet, we'll start with a parakeet here, flew off to freedom in Scotland. UPI reported last Tuesday, the 2nd, on how it broke loose in a Scottish suburb, as if parakeets don't have wings or use them. So it was somewhere within flying distance around the island when people started noticing this little green, red beaked bird landing somewhere. And they noticed because this bird has been pecking on people's cars. More specifically, they say since February, when the pecking problem started, the bird has been blamed for pecking at the rubber parts of all these cars. And folks say that parakeet has caused thousands of dollars in damage pecking at people's rides. And it's not like cops can arrest it. Now in Poland, UPI is reporting the Sunday before last, a porcupine wandered off from its home and scared people who saw that into calling the cops. Now, police say officers saw, then called a local exotic animal expert to come deal with all those needles poking out from its body. And that Sunday night, the expert showed up to the neighborhood. Cops then spotted the porcupine for the expert. Hey, it's over there. Who then? He went and looked and thought that prickly little thing looked mighty familiar, not from other calls, but from home. It looked like his, until he saw it actually was. Apparently, the expert came to find out his expertise did not extend to fencing when it comes to keeping a porcupine contained. And he said, looks like the doggone thing chewed through fencing to get out. No humans or animals stuck by needles as far as they know in this case. UPI says the expert took his pet home and expanded his expertise from there to learn he'll need a porcupine-proof fencing. Now, in England's city of Birmingham, The Independent is reporting City Council has been paying a total of over £470,000 to itself for its own vehicles breaking the city's clean air zone policy that they came up with. The Independent news site is saying the rules were meant for following emission standards to improve air quality and ended up paying so many daily 8-pound and 50-pound fines, it added up to over $470,000. A council spokesperson says they have about 1,100 municipal vehicles, and many of them were not compliant, so ended up cutting the number by finally replacing them with compliant vehicles. Now, 142 of the old vehicles left. Now, as an unofficial title, it would just be somebody with a dirty home, but cockroach breeder is an official title of someone in Australia. And the AP is reporting this cockroach breeder had over 100,000 of them. Hissing Madagascar cockroaches, dubia cockroaches, all illegal to have in Australia since they have their own roaches to kill. Why add more to the mix, especially since Australian officials say those hissing cockroaches can grow to be worth about $200,000. Both types not legal to bring into the country. So that breeder had some legal troubles on his hands to go with the roaches crawling all over them. And the Associated Press has somehow come to report that an albino buffalo at Bangladesh's National Zoo in Dhaka has been drawing crowds after going viral on social media because why not? Since folks have been taking pictures and videos of its golden blonde tuft of hair over the buffalo's head, which, if you look at it, and the AP made that part easy by posting a picture of this albino buffalo in their story on it to show, it does look sort of familiar, which is probably why workers at Bangladesh's National Zoo named it Donald Trump. Back in a moment.
Simple as that. Get the card, the Medical Express card. Don't get sick without it.
He'll never do. But,
ladies, are you tired of matching with guys on singles apps?
Yes, you could have stopped right there.
Only to get unsolicited pics of peckers?
Ugh.
Well, try Stumble. The Stumble dating app gives...
What's up with what's going down, though?
What's up with microwaving fish? Is that cool to do at work? And assuming the answer is hell no, what about if it's blackened catfish or some recipe that tastes as delicious as it smells? I mean, would that be cool? I mean, I'm only asking because this 46-year-old cop in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, was still a definite no, at least on the fish that a fellow officer was nuking the Saturday before last, when WBTW News 13 is reporting that 46-year-old detective was so fed up with the smell, he's accused of pulling his gun on the patrolman. And that's why the story on this refers to him as now former Myrtle Beach detective, because his ass was fired and charged. That cop was booked into jail, but was released 6 hours later. So again, I ask, those of us without guns at work, is the fish smell that bad to where it's okay to want to lose a job over it?
Please do subscribe to the audio version of The Goodness Factor with Shelley Wade podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to the video version of the podcast on the YouTube channel, The Goodness Factor with Shelley Wade.
Never gave him that bone before he went to his home. They popped my dog, y'all.
And that's it for another Real Pod newscast. Thanks as always for listening. Really appreciate it. Song credits had been posted on the show's Facebook page, but Facebook is tripping. They took away my administrative access for some weird reason, so I've been trying to work that out. We'll get it done. Song credits for the cast and Daily B-Days will be there whenever this matter is settled, or hey, can always set up another page on Reddit or my website. My website's been its own issue. I'm getting that dealt with too. All these issues, but I'm fixing them. Back with celebrity birthdays tomorrow. Have a great hump day.
This has been the Real Pod Newscast with Levon Putney from Show Enough Productions. And for more, hit up the website, realpodnewscast.com. That's real with 2 E's. This is Big Daddy Marty Allen. Thanks for listening.
Show enough.